We grossly overestimate the progress and the change and the transformation and all of the things that we can do in a year's period. But oh my gosh, we grossly underestimate how much change and how much transformation and how much progress we could have if we just looked at life in the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 3 years. Imagine if you stopped looking at your life through years and you started looking at your life through decades. Like, what would be possible for you?
The Mindspo podcast.
What do you see with your mind's eye?
Welcome back. Let's elevate. Roll your shoulders up and back. Unclench your jaw. Elongate your spine as you take a deep breath in. And now, exhale. Now take your mind to that person, place, or thing that you have gratitude for, and start to feel into the joy available to you at all times. Elevate into a higher vibration as we expand together and dive into this conversation.
Welcome to the Mindspo podcast. My name's Rochelle Fox. I am your host, and you are tuning in for another episode in our Mindspo manifestation series brought to you by Manifesty app. Now, today's podcast is actually inspired and a continuation from the previous podcast on this channel. And in this last episode of the podcast, I did a solo deep dive all around aging. And specifically, I did a deep dive on how you can get excited and really look forward to becoming the elderly version of you. I'm talking grandma, grandpa you, 80-year-old you that is just full of wrinkles and wisdom. And I really enjoyed recording that podcast episode. And it's really kind of got me thinking about this concept of aging and how there is so much that we can talk about. And I started to really reflect on how aging can be a really powerful thing to reflect on when it comes to manifestation. And I really couldn't find any content out there that really spoke about this. So I thought this would be such a good topic to bring to the manifestation series. So I want to kick off this conversation with a famous Tony Robbins quote that I absolutely love. In this quote, he states, "People grossly overestimate what they can do in a year, but they grossly underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades." I really want you to think about this. How many things do you think about that you want in your life, that you want to manifest, that you want to attract? And maybe you have actually started working towards those things. You've started making progress. You've started putting in the work to make them happen, but they just haven't been happening at the speed that you would like. And then you get to the end of the year and you feel like you haven't even made a dent in the things that you wanted. And you take that feedback, that progress as failure. You look at the timeline that you gave yourself, such as a year, and you go, you know what? I didn't get the business to where I wanted to get it. I didn't find the man of my dreams in the last year. I didn't save the amount of money that I want to save. And then you get into this limiting belief bubble and this limiting belief story loop where you just start believing that you're actually not capable of the things that you have wanted to create for yourself. So you start to believe that you're not someone that can make your dreams a reality. And I really do feel like this happens from what Tony Robbins says in this quote, where we grossly overestimate the progress and the change and the transformation and all of the things that we can do in a year's period. But oh my gosh, we grossly underestimate how much change and how much transformation and how much progress we could have if we just looked at life in the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 3 years. Imagine if you stopped looking at your life through years and you started looking at your life through decades. Like, what would be possible for you? I'm going to transition the energy in this podcast because I want to pause and do a little exercise with you here. If it's safe for you to do so, I want you to close down your eyes. And while you have your eyes closed, I want you to bring your mind's eye and your attention to something that you have always wanted for yourself. see whatever it is that you desire as yours. Really get into this with me. Allow yourself to close your eyes, unclench your jaw, let it go, and roll your shoulders up and back, elongate your spine. Take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. Arrive here in this moment. Be here now with me. And as you arrive here, release anything other than what is happening in this moment. It's just you and me and your imagination. Now with your mind's eye, I want you to see yourself, not today, but 2 decades from now. See yourself in 20 years' time. Time travel 20 years from today and see your face looking back at you. See your face in the future and witness a future version of you that is happy, that is relaxed, that is successful. A version of you that is at peace. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And as you exhale, make this vision of you a little brighter. Pull this vision of your face 20 years from now a little closer to you. Really bring this visual to life. See yourself in the future, smiling back at you. And now, start to feel into the energy of this version of you 20 years from now. Feel into that energy of success. You've succeeded at your dreams, and you've received the desires that you currently have on your heart. This version ahead of you has achieved and received everything that you've ever desired for yourself. You're happy. You're healthy. You're fulfilled. Your life is better than good. Your life is great. This version of you, looking into the eyes of the current you, this version of you ahead of you, sees all of your potential. They know what you are capable of. They were once you, with a dream and with a vision, and with dedication and through taking aligned action, they created the abundant future of your dreams. Feel into how this version of you feels. How great it feels to have everything that you've desired. Unclench that jaw. Let go and release any doubts. See in your mind's eye what you are capable of. Feel into what is to come. This can be your future. All that it requires is for you to take the first step, and then the next step, and then step by step, your whole life will unfold until you become one with this future version of yourself. It will happen so much faster than you think, because when you believe it, because when you see it, when you decide to receive it without questioning it, then it is already yours. It's decided and it's destined. This is your future to create. If you can see it in your mind's eye, then you can bring it to life. See how much is possible when you take action, when you get aligned, when you trust and give things time. And know that that future version of you that you see is counting on you today, because what you do now will affect your future. It's your job to keep the vision alive. Now slowly, let that version of you 20 years from now fade away as you smile and feel immense gratitude and peace and certainty for what is to come. Now you can open your eyes. Welcome back. We dread this idea of time passing, but we don't realize that with time, we can actually invest in our future. So what if rather than seeing time as something that takes away from your potential, you start seeing it as something that allows you to invest in your long-term vision? Do you ever feel like your phone is a blessing and a curse? It can serve us in so many ways, but it can also lead to stress, anxiety, absent-mindedness, and a shorter attention span. If you're into manifestation as much as I am, then you know how important your vibration is when it comes to attracting your ideal reality. That's why we built Manifesty, our manifestation app, an app that will turn your phone from a distraction machine into an attraction machine. Inside Manifesty, you can practice our signature meditations and visualizations. You can build your very own vision board feed and even create a vision board movie. It even lets you schedule custom affirmation notifications so that your phone keeps your vibration on track with little messages throughout the day. If you love this podcast, then you will love this app. You can download it right now for free, and if you choose to subscribe, it's also one of the best ways that you can support us here at Mindspo to continue the work that we put out. Find it now on both app stores by searching Manifesty. That's Manifest IE, and start your free trial today. Thanks for listening, and now let's get back to the episode. I really do believe that aging is an incredible way to start moving through our limiting beliefs, because maybe you cannot visualize yourself right now having all the things that you want to have in your life. Maybe right now, because of your circumstances, because of how your life is in this current present moment, it's so hard for your mind to visually get behind you receiving and achieving all the things that you desire. But when you cast this net, when you extend your mind past the present day and you start to think in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, then you can really start to feel that energy shift, because you realize, hang on a second, I've got time, I've got space, I've got more time than I think to figure it out. And I feel like when we can start to energetically get behind this way of thinking, it starts to get us into a space where we can start to feel that, hang on a second, this could be possible for me, because a lot of the time people don't even allow themselves to have these big dreams for themselves, to hold this vision for themselves, because they just think about where they are right now, their current circumstances, everything that's going on, and they just throw it out. They're like, oh, that's not possible. That's impossible. I can't do this. And okay, all right, maybe right now, where you want to go, what you want to achieve seems crazy, but it could be different in 10 years. It could be different in 20 years. And when you can start seeing versions of yourself actually receiving and living in your manifestations, that's when energetically things are going to change. So I think that using aging as a vehicle to move through your limiting beliefs, move through your blocks, and actually start to visualize yourself receiving things can be incredibly powerful. And I've been doing this with a bunch of my manifestations, with a bunch of the things that I want. So there are a few kind of like big vision things that I want that right now are, they feel heavy. I'm not going to say that they're impossible, but I'm like, yeah, maybe this happening tomorrow isn't super realistic. But oh my gosh, in 10 years, could this thing happen? Heck yeah. I visualize myself having multiple properties all around the world, like bases that I go to. Do I feel like that is going to happen tomorrow? No, I don't feel like that's going to happen tomorrow. Do I feel like that's going to happen within the next 3, 5, 10 years? Heck yes. Like I can totally see that for myself. If I get behind this vision with aligned action, if I start to see it, if I move through the limiting beliefs, if I apply myself, if I take this aligned action towards this vision that I have for myself, do I think that it will happen? Can I see it happening? Yes. And when I see myself in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, it also takes the pressure off. And I feel like that is a really, really big point here, because sometimes when it comes to manifesting, the reason why you are not receiving what you want to receive is because you have applied too much pressure. So your action step for this podcast is I really want you to have a little think of what it is that you want to receive in this lifetime. What are the things that you want to achieve? What are kind of like your bucket list things? And I don't want you to think about the things that you want in the next year. Think about those things, yes, but I really want you to think in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, like all of the things that you want to manifest. And don't just think about the things that you think you are capable of manifesting. Really allow yourself to extend that limiting belief bubble, that mindset in your head beyond what you think is currently possible. So really move beyond your comfort zone, take the lid off your dreams, and think about all of the things that you could attract into your life by the time that you are 80. And then what I want you to do is I want you to make a Pinterest board. So I spoke about this in the last episode, but I have a Pinterest board called The Souls. And in The Souls Pinterest board, it is just photos and photos and photos of me as an elderly woman and Soul as an elderly man, and our life as these two 80-year-olds living our best eccentric life. So I want you to make your own board like that. If you have a partner, you could name it you and your partner's name. If it's just for yourself, name it your own name, and just really start to think about yourself as an 80-year-old having received and achieved all of the things that you want in this lifetime. And in this board, I want you to dream without the lid on, and I don't want you to dream in years. I want you to dream in decades. And then if you're a Manifesty user, what I want you to do is we have a section on Manifesty called the Future Feed. And I want you to go and save your favorite photos from your Pinterest board and put them on your Future Feed and call it your Infinity Feed. And whenever you are in doubt, whenever you are in this place, oh, is this possible for me? I don't know if I can do this thing. I want you to go on Manifesty app. I want you to open your Future Feed, go to your Infinity Feed, and look at all of the things that you could achieve in the next 30, 40, 50, 20, 10 years. Like all of the things that are possible for you when you put in the time, when you put in the energy, and when you take that aligned action. And the beautiful thing about this practice, and the beautiful thing about thinking in decades and really starting to extend the time that we have for ourselves with our manifestations, is that I can tell you from experience, when you start to believe these things are possible for you and you take the pressure off yourself and you live with certainty and you energetically get behind them with aligned action, things start to happen at a rapid speed. But first you have to take the pressure off and you just have to start believing and you have to be in that certainty and you just have to know that it's going to happen for you and don't question it and be in the energy that, this is just a guaranteed. I'm telling you now, if you do that, it's going to help you so much with your mindset, so much with your belief that you have in yourself. And it's also going to help you start feeling better and more excited about aging. I really hope that you have enjoyed today's podcast episode. And if you haven't already listened to the episode before this, I feel like that's a really good one to just help you reframe aging and to think about it from a different perspective. Sending you all the love, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And if you're new to our world and you want to elevate your mind and step into your best self, then be sure to download our app, Manifesty, from the App Store and take advantage of the free trial. With Manifesty, you can create your own vision board movies, practice powerful meditations, and set affirmation reminders so your phone supports your journey towards that abundant vision of your future. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.